To be honest, is the pod going on? To be honest, sit down, we need to have a talk. Cornelius gon' make a point that the others don't. Them other shows sound the same, come escape the box. Expand your mind, dig into no controversial topics. He ain't scared to keep it real. Tune into this podcast, but don't be in your feelings. We gon' have a laugh, we gon' talk about some pain. Let's talk about the present situation of today. Yeah. To be honest, is this the podcast? I need to tune in right now.
Well, that's a perfect way for us to get started. How y'all doing out there? Yo, this is your boy Cornelius Lindsey, and I got my boy on here. Y'all know him well, Mr. Jarid B. And the B don't stand for it stands for Behringer. It's Jarid Behringer. That's
What
his
up,
name.
y'all? Can y'all hear me fine?
They
y'all hear me out there?
They hear you. They hear you. They hear you. They hear you. Mr. Jarid B, listen, man. I don't know if y'all out there who are listening, I don't know if y'all have already tuned in to our stereo talks. If you have not tuned into our stereo after party, you need to start doing that right now because, I mean, we be popping. Everything be popping and it's just popping. That's what it is, popping. So you need to make sure you're tuned in. But if you did not tune into the last one, then you missed a great talk that it was really good, right, Jay?
Yeah, definitely.
So I figured we didn't have this conversation again. We didn't make this official for the podcast. So, okay, so let's kind of bring everybody up to speed, Jarid. I want you to start with the decision that this idea that you had, a decision that you're making. I don't know if you made it yet. We're gonna come up to that, but kind of take everybody from the beginning and bring us up to where we are right now.
Definitely made it. I definitely made it. I'm not reneging.
Oh, Jesus.
But let's backtrack a little bit, right?
Okay.
So, how did this really come all about, this decision to go to Syria? So
Okay.
that's where we're at, right? It's like I made a decision. I put a post out saying, "Hey, listen, I want to be where the conflict is."
Mm-hmm.
And then also, I put another post out and I said, "You know what? I want to go to Syria. I'm going to Syria. I'm taking my backpack. I'm taking the camera." And I'm taking one change of clothes. And I was like, help send me to Syria. And I put a PayPal donation link. I didn't really think anything of it. And then people started sending stuff in, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is great what you're doing. This is really important. The story really needs to be told. Just a lot of support started coming in. And one thing led to another. Next thing you know, my boy hits me up. He says, hey, listen, I know this guy that shot a documentary for HBO when we were in Afghanistan. It was one of the craziest times of my life because my boy's an ex-Marine. That's how they met. Puts me in touch with him. Other people started reaching out to me. A guy from the Miami Herald hit me up, former colleague of mine, said, I know a couple of guys at the Washington Post, put me in touch with a guy, an editor at the Washington Post, and then I mean, it's just amazing how all of these doors started to open up, right? Once I made this decision, and it really feels like I'm doing the right thing. It feels like I'm going in the direction that I should go because I'm getting a lot of support from people. People are saying, this is a tremendous thing that I'm doing. People have donated. I mean, I've already received like over $2,000 like in donations. That's enough to pay for a plane ticket. That's enough to, to really get me a place to stay and so forth. So it's just been a whirlwind, right? But we were talking about on stereo. We were talking about following your heart.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things for me, of course, with any decision, I feel like you make it, there's going to be some opposition to it. But I didn't think the opposition would come from some of the people that I care about the most.
Wow.
Now, I get it. I honestly get it that these are the people that love you the most. And so they want to protect you. They want to make sure that nothing happens to you. But at the same time, and I was asking you about this, right? I'm like, my heart rate is I'm calmer now. I'm calmer now because when we had that stereo talk, bro, like my heart rate is like 120 beats per minute because I just got off. It was like right after I.
You don't even, your heart rate's not even that high when you work out. Ooh,
Yeah.
that was
Wow.
shade. That was a lot of shade.
Oh.
You know what, Cornelius? You should stop.
Goodness.
You did that. That was uncalled for, Cornelius. That was uncalled for. I apologize.
I did my 5 days of 75 hard. Okay?
I was about to say we are. I was about. I didn't know how far you was about to take this lie, but I didn't know how far. I didn't know how much I was going to pull it back. But okay, I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna give you them 5 days you did. I may give you 3.5. I maybe give you 3.5. We ain't sure just yet.
That wasn't an embellishment. That have been an embellishment. But listen, I did what I had to do.
That is hilarious.
But yo, so I'm like, okay, that whole conversation really got me upset because I'm like, why are you? Why? I understand that you don't want me to go to Syria because it's dangerous. I can get kidnapped. I can get killed. You know, there's just all of the worst things that can happen to me were thrown at my feet. Like, what about all this? And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, what about all the good that can happen, you know, from it? And I was, I'm like, how about, what was conflicting for me is because now you begin to second guess yourself and say, is this the right thing to do? Because you want to listen to quote unquote wise counsel, right? And if people are telling you that are closest around you that are telling you, yo, listen, this might not be the best thing to do, I think it's a wise thing to do to listen and to at least consider what's being said about it. And one of my issues was, how do I know what to do in a case like this? If the maxim is, there's wisdom in the counsel of many, and the opposite side of the coin is listen to your heart. Like, what am I supposed to do here? So I was thrown in a bit of a worry because I really didn't know what to do. But I can't live my life not pursuing the interests of my heart. And it's not like I'm going out there to do a bad thing. You know what I mean? It's not like somebody's telling me, yo, don't go there because, like you might kill somebody, or I'm not going to do a bad thing. I feel like I'm going to go do a good thing and tell the story of mental health because, it's just been like one thing has led to another, and here I am.
So I know the difficult part was the fact that you were opposed by the people you love the most. Not the people you love the most, but the people who essentially care the most about you, probably the closest to you. But what would you say was that number one reason that said, I'm going to do it? Like, no matter what, I'm going to do it.
The number one reason for me is there's a couple things, but I think the number one is I'm not going to bury the impulses of my heart, and I'm not going to put them in a closet because I'm scared of what might happen.
Wow. Yeah. I feel you on that.
How many times do we do that?
Yeah.
Like I get it that, I get it. Something can happen, but why are we focusing, why are we focusing on what's the worst that can happen and all of these things? Because I think, like you said, I could get hit by a bus walking down the street.
Yeah, you could. I mean, you can walking right outside, trip over something, break your neck or something, it's possible.
Come up to me, rob me, you know what I mean? Kill me, shoot me there, you know what I mean? But, you live your life, in some sort of bubble that, bump this coronavirus, man. I'm not wearing no mask. No, I'm just kidding.
I said, all right.
I'm gonna do what I want.
All right, we going. All right now, come on. This podcast just took a whole new turn right there.
We going.
This podcast took a whole new turn. I said, Texas who? Don't California my Texas, what they said. That's what they said, man. No, but I definitely understand exactly what you're saying, bro. Like, I think one of the things we talked about in our discussion was the number of times like I've been in that same position where I've had to make a decision to do something that ultimately had opposition from people I cared about. You know, it was like, you know, I thought this was going to be the right decision, and I still had opposition. And then like I think a couple times, the big difference between, you know, the decisions I had to make in this decision for you is that you had some support with it. I've been in some situations. I think there's probably people who are listening and watching as well, who are like, dang, like I'm in a situation where I don't see the support. Like I don't feel like anybody is behind me. I don't feel like anybody is really here to say, like, you know, you're going the right way. All you know is that you are compelled to go in the right direction, but you don't know exactly what direction that is. But you just like, you know, if you know within your heart, if I don't do this, then it's going to be bad for me. I could stay comfortable, but I know I have to leave. Like when I dropped out of college, I didn't have one person who really supported it. I mean, my mom, my dad they were cool about it. But never forget the conversation I had with my mom. She was like, you know, she said, listen, she said, you've always been a good kid. She said, you've always made good decisions. She was like, so I don't understand it. I don't get it, but I'm going to trust you. It wasn't something she was like, I'm against it. I don't want you to do it. You should go back, blah, blah, blah. But it was one of those like, I'm going to be your mama. I'm going to support you. I don't understand. I understand why you're doing it. Nobody could. Because when I was, you know, when you kind of look at your life, Jay, the same way that they looked at mine back then, they're kind of like, well, why are you doing? You don't need to. You know, why are you leaving college? You have good grades. You got the Hope Scholarship. You got this. You're a senator on campus. You're doing all these things. Why do you have to leave? Just stay there. Just finish it. And then we can, and then look at doing something later on. Or let's wait till it calms down. Let's wait until after you finish, then you can go do that. But I knew that this was a decision I had to make. So now looking at your life, you know, it's kind of like, well, you know, are you sure? Because you have this obligation, you got this responsibility, you have, you know, this relationship forming, you have all these moving elements. So people on the outside looking in and they're like, Jarid, why in the heck are you getting ready to do this? Like, why are you following your heart?
I wish I had that kind of like, and I do, but you know, I think that's really huge. What your mom said to you. She said, I don't understand the decision, you know, but I still support you and I still trust you. And that's enough, you know. I feel like that's enough. I mean, why am I doing all of this? Yo, I don't know. Like but it's, again, it's something it's been on my heart. It's actually been on my heart for a long time. It's to be some sort of, you know, be in the trenches, be a war photographer, or and I didn't know it would take this kind of twist as I got older, because I'm not actually going over there to take pictures. I'm really telling the story through film, so it's a bit different. But I'm not going to continue to bury that, because I felt that way when I was 18, you know, 20, getting out of high school. I was like, man, I would love to be this kind of, photographer.
Yeah.
And I remember trying to go into the Army, and I was dissuaded from going into the Army, because I should, you know, it was, you know, my dad told me that, you know, maybe you should go into or look into something into the medical field. It's safer. And then at that time, I think you had like, I forget which war was going on or what was going on. I know Bush was president.
Iraq.
And a lot of people, it was after 9/11.
Yeah, it was Iraq war, Iraq and Afghanistan.
It just wasn't the safest thing to do, you know?
Hey, to be honest, this is your boy Cornelius Lindsey. I hope that you have already checked out The To Be Honest after party. We are on stereo. We're on the stereo app. If you have not already, make sure you download it. You got to be following us. It is me and my boy Jared Behringer, or Jared B, but the B stands for Behringer. He is a stereo.com/Jared B. I am stereo.com/ this is Cornelius. All the information, as always, is found in the description section, but make sure that you join us. Now, here's the thing. We are on stereo every Thursday at 9:00 p.m. Eastern time. That's right. Our after party kicks off every Thursday at 9:00 p.m. Eastern time. Yo, the podcast comes out we got a new podcast for you every Wednesday. So you listen to the podcast, you get the after party. Here's the great thing about it. You get a chance to come to join us live. That means if you've ever been listening to our podcast, you're like, yo, I got something to say, or yo, I love that, or yo, bring me in, or yo, I want to be a part of this. This is your opportunity to do it. So again, be there with us every Thursday, 9:00 p.m. Eastern time. Join us live. We want to hear what you got to say. We want to get your questions so we can answer your questions and we can answer them live. Yo, this is your opportunity to be a part of our journey, to be a part of the podcast that you already know you love. And if it ain't already, this is going to be your favorite podcast. Yo, join us every Thursday, 9:00 p.m. Eastern time.
But I wasn't thinking about that. I was like, man, I want to, I love, I love hiking. I love being out.
Yes, Lord. You like being in crazy places. When you told me, Jared, when you told me that was no, I don't think you told me. Oh, I think it was Heather. I think it was Heather who was like, have you heard what Jared's doing? And I was like, no, what is it? And she was like, he wants to go to Syria. I said, wow, when is he going? Like, it wasn't even, she was like, Cornelius, really? I was like, well, it wasn't a second thought to me. Like, it wasn't one time in my mind I thought he shouldn't do that. And you know what? And as Heather pointed out, I'm probably the worst person in these type of situations to ask about doing crazy stuff, because that's who I am in the core of me. But it's something you just said that I feel like people who are listening need to attach to. And something you just said that said, that's where I feel most alive. And I think the average person, Jay, what they do is they settle in to whatever part of life is most comfortable, even though it doesn't bring them fulfillment and they feel alive doing it. They just kind of settle in and doing it. Like, that was one of the things, like when people ask, well, why would you quit pastoring? Like, wow. I didn't feel alive doing it. I felt like I was in a box. I feel like that was a box for me. Well, why did you start doing it? Because I felt like that was something I needed to do back then. I felt like that was what God wanted me to do right then. Well, do you feel like God will tell you to leave something and do something? I mean, the Apostle Paul started multiple churches. He oversaw them, but then he would leave them. Like, I can't be apostolic in this piece. Your pastor got so many doggone titles, I just don't use them. Like, I can't be apostolic. I can't start something and walk away from it. I can't start it then hand it over to somebody else. But I feel like what you just said is so key to life, fulfillment, and wholehearted living. Because life and wholehearted living is all about finding that thing. It's about journeying out into the wilderness, choosing to live wild, and find that thing that makes you come alive. And if you feel alive outside, I mean, you're going to Syria. That's mountainous areas. You're going to be in a mountain. Like, right. Maybe, and could it be, Jay, could it be that everything that you've gone through in your life up to this point, let's just take, I mean, you and I, we know. You know everything that you've gone through, from being homeless to everything. Let's just say that everything you've gone through, bro, has been nothing more than training ground to get you prepared for where you're going. Because you're not afraid to sleep outside. You've already done it. Yeah. You're not afraid to have to sleep in somebody else's roof, under somebody else's roof, because you've already done it. You're not afraid to salvage, huh?
Slept in crack houses, bro.
You said what? Cooking crack houses?
Slept in the crack house.
You slept in a crack house?
Legit.
You didn't tell me you slept in a crack.
When
you slept?
When I got out of jail, man, like
you slept in
I
a
didn't have
crack
nowhere
house?
to go, bro.
So you
crackhead picked me up in his car, took me to the gas. This is the first night, bro. It's 4:00 in the morning. Took me to the gas station, got me something to eat, got me a hot dog and Doritos, and he got it for free from the manager. Came back out, got somebody to put gas in the tank. He got a stranger to put gas in the tank, and he drove me back to this lady's house It was like, yo, I got a place for you to stay. You can stay here for the night. And then I sat on the couch. He went into the room and came out, and he was like, yo, I just want to be honest with you. We gonna be in the back doing crack, smoking crack. Bro, when I tell you we're nothing in that house but a dining room table, a dining room table.
Because you got to have somewhere to eat. You got to have somewhere to eat. Now that's wise.
Yo, I slept there for like 3 hours, and it was like I was grateful for it. I slept with one eye open, but I slept there for 3 hours.
And then
I woke up and the dude was gone. I woke up, the dude was gone, yo. The girl came and woke me up at 7 a.m. She was like, honey, baby, gotta go. Gotta go. I walked out the house with her, and she just jumped into a white Bronco. And I was just like, okay, Lord, what am I going to do? Then I heard a loud accident, a bang, bang. And I just followed the noise. I went there, and just the rest is history. But
hold up. See all these stories. See, Father be a fence in a microphone. I ain't know about all this. I ain't know. But I mean, okay. You know our prayer to God is always, God, whatever you want me to do, however you want me to do it, I'll do it, right? And could it be that every piece of the process that we go through in our lives is part of the preparation? Like, you don't want to go through that. But I love how scripture continues to remind us that God can use seemingly bad situations for our good. I mean, okay, so you already know what it's like to entertain strangers, to sleep in a house with strangers. You already know what it's like to have to sleep outside. You know what it's like to have to sleep in prison next to other prisoners. You know, I mean, you already know what these things like. You know what it's like to be filled with food, and you know what it's also like to have to fast for days.
Yeah.
It's like you know about these things. I never forget when I first met you, Jay. When I first met you, I remember you were telling me, it's like, yeah, you know, it's tough because I can't find a job for da. And I was like, so I remember asking you the question, what do you love to do? And you said, I believe you said photography. And I was like, well, why don't we find something for that? And then you got a camera in your hands. And when you put that camera in your hands, like that camera became it became an additional part of your body. You always had it. It was just a piece of you. But it became that part of you that began to tell a story. And that is what you have always been good at, Jay, telling a story. And now you're getting ready to go into uncharted territories. Nobody wants to do it. But how is your story any different than Jonah's? Like God told Jonah, he said, hey, bro, I mean, this is my version of the Bible. Hey, bro, I want you to go to Nineveh. And then Jonah's like, no, bro, I ain't gonna do that. So Jonah got on a boat, and Jonah decided he was going to Tarshish. The problem is
CSB, y'all. This is CSB.
Yeah, this
Cornelius Standard Version.
Come on, that's it right there. He was like, no, bro, I'm going to Tarshish. The problem is that when God, where God told Jonah to go, that was as if God was saying, I want you to go to present day Syria. I want you to go to present day Iraq. Jonah's like, I can't do that. Because you don't understand that when I get there, they're going to probably kill me, especially with the word that you telling me to give. Like, you telling me to come in and deliver a word of judgment to these people. They going to kill me. So Jonah's like, no, bro, I'm going the opposite direction. Decided to go to Tarshish. Now, all of a sudden, the winds are going. The ship he is on is about to tip right over. The men come together and they say, somebody on board this ship is disobeying God. They have to go over and throw Jonah overboard. Jonah's like, don't worry about it. Just throw me over. Throw Jonah overboard. Jonah got it. Jonah's in the belly of a fish for 3 days. He talks to God. Belly of the fish spits him out. Jonah says, I'll go. Jonah goes, delivers the message, and Jonah got pissed off when he got there because after he delivered the message, he saw how easy it was. The king done went and repented, and now the whole nation done repented. Jonah's pissed. Jonah's like, you sent me all the way here just for this? And no. But how I say all that to say, how is your journey? How is your journey any different than Jonah's?
There's so many like nuances in what you're saying in that story, and it's like, oh yeah, that too. I mean, like, look at all the people that were affected because Jonah wasn't even, or could have been affected because Jonah wasn't in the right place.
Come on, bro.
Like,
that's it.
Look, and then they could have perished because of Jonah.
Yep.
Because of Jonah. And how many times have you said that, like, nations are waiting, yo? And that's like been your tagline and something that you hold dear and near to your heart and something that I've accepted and, you know, and adopted into my life. Like, yo, nations are waiting on your obedience, and obedience is just a decision. Like, it's just a decision. You make a decision, and then I heard it before. Making a decision is like jumping into a river and having it take you wherever, you know, where it goes. Like, you don't know where it's going to go. It takes you, it sweeps you away.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's really like what happened. But, you know, all these doors started to open up, and I'm being like pushed down this way that right now I couldn't. So many people now are I wouldn't say depending, but looking towards me to tell the story. That there's no way I can try to swim back upstream.
Yeah.
There's like, at this point, there's no way. And
go ahead.
Yeah, I mean that's really it.
It's the I forget the story. I'm not gonna get the story right, but it was a story about the men who decided that they're gonna go to battle, and they brought all their ships. I guess the general gave them all a talk before they left, and said, "Listen, when we go, we have to win. There is no losing. There is no turning back. We can't turn back." And so they put up on the land. And after they did, I believe like the general, he burned all the boats. There was no way that they can get back.
Wow.
But ultimately burning the boats gave the men the extra motivation they needed in order to proclaim victory. They won the war, which they could have lost. And they could have lost because it never fails in the back of your head. Like, I love that example you gave of making a decision, because, yo, most people fail at that, Jay, because they always have in the back of their head that, oh, I got a boat I can get on just in case. Oh, don't worry about it. I know I'm going to war, but I got a boat that I can get on. I can run back just in case. And I love the fact that when God calls us to do something, whenever he compels to put something on our hearts, yo, it's like we got to push out and we got to burn the boat behind us. Like, that's why I was like, yo, when I hand over to church, no, I'm not trying to keep any of it, because I don't want to give myself an opportunity, a boat to say, just in case what I'm going to don't work out, I'm going to go back to the boat. It's like, no, it's like, yo, if you're going to do it, then do it. If you're going to make the decision, make the decision. If you're going to jump in, jump all the way in. Don't jump in and then think, well, you know what, I can always jump to the shore. No, if you're going to jump in, you're going to jump. And I appreciate you for even saying that now, especially for the people who are listening, people who are watching. Like, yo, if you're going to jump in, then jump. And don't be afraid of jumping. Like, let the river take you. And wherever it takes you, be okay with the journey, because the process is not freaking easy. I think that's one thing that's wrong with us, bro. We want everything so quick, so fast, so instant. We don't want to go through the crap that's going to ultimately prepare us. What if, Jay, everything you went through, bro, was bringing you up to this cataclysmic moment where now those things don't faze you? If you get out there, you're like, well, I got to sleep outside. I've already done that.
I've done it. I'm ready. And I know how to. Not just like I'm not scared to, but I know
eat bugs and
to.
stuff. I know. You be one of them people. You be eating crickets and stuff. I know you be eating crickets and worms. I can't go nowhere with you. That's why I can't go nowhere with you.
One of them bad boys out, boys. Listen, man.
Jared, stop it. Please stop. I never forget. We was in Montana, and that mosquito fell in your drink. And I looked at you. I said, Jared, you got to throw that out. You got to put that. You got to throw that in the creek. Throw it in the creek, Jared. The mosquito. You see the mosquito. The mosquito dead inside of it. You know what you did? You nasty joker. You drunk it. And I sat there and I looked at you and I wanted to smack you so bad. I just for being nasty on the boat. I thought to myself, I'll never be on a boat with him by myself. If we ever got stranded, I guarantee you one thing. If it ain't fish over a fire, it ain't going in my mouth. Can't do it, pimp. I can't. You a real one with it.
I didn't taste it though.
I bet you didn't taste it. It was in 100 proof. You couldn't taste it.
See, but whatever blood that mosquito sucks out of the human, that before I drank it.
Oh,
now I'm much stronger because of it. Right?
I think he bit me, to be honest with you. I think he kind of bit me. So you and I, we might be related. we might be related now. We might be related by blood because of mosquito that you drunk and ultimately ate.
You gave me extra powers.
You nasty joker, you.
But if I was scared, I wouldn't be as strong as I am right now.
He got it now. If he was scared, son did they both.
What you say? I think last time you said fear is an indicator.
Oh, it's
not a leader. Oh my God!
Fear is not a leader. Woo. God never intended for it to be a leader. God always intended for fear to be exactly what it was, and fear is an indicator. Fear just lets you know you have it from the time you were born. Fear is just an indicator that danger is up ahead. But even though I see danger, that's why people who get in dangerous situations, perilous situations, that they can still rise to the occasion and fight in the midst of danger, because in the fight, they don't fear. They don't back down. They're not paralyzed. They're not frozen. They don't run away. They fight in the midst of danger. That don't mean they don't feel fear. It just means that the indication of fear came, but they fight back. And what you're doing is, in the sense of fear, you got people around you who are like, here's fear. Fear is an indicator of what bad can happen, which is natural and normal for a human. But what you're saying is I can fight back against the fear. I can keep going despite the fear. But because of how they see it in their perspective, their fear wants to cause for you to run away. And you refuse to run.
And it's like, man. I was listening to something this morning, man, and it kind of changed up my whole perspective. And I'm like, God is with me, man. Like, God is with me. Like, God is with me, man. And why am I even praying and asking for protection? Let me just say that again. Why am I praying and asking for God's protection when God is already with me? Like, he's already, it's like praying for healing. Like, God, can you please heal this person? Or God, can you please do this for this person? No. Thank you, God, that you are healing me, that I am healed. Thank you that you have protected me even right now. So wherever you are, God, there's protection. Wherever you are, there's healing. Wherever you are, there's peace. Wherever you are, there's love already. I don't need to ask for it to come already, and come and envelop me or whatever. It's already here. And I'm not going to, I understand what some of the things are that can happen. I understand the get kidnapped or whatever the thing is. You know what I'm saying? Put in jail or whatever. But what about the people, man? And what really pissed me off was somebody calling me selfish for doing this, for even thinking about doing this, because I'm not thinking about my kids. I'm not thinking about the people that are closest around me. What about if something happens to me, they're going to be hurt? But I'm thinking about the people that are already affected, through the traumas of living in the war. Oh my God, Cornelius. I looked up something. I've been researching Syria, Syria archives. Some of the stuff that I've seen, babies, women, children, gas and bombs with chemical weapons, raw footage.
I'm going to tell you this, Jared. I'm going to tell you this. And I hope this also encourages the people who are listening too. What you're getting ready to do is document a biblical story. This is how, God's hand is on it. Syria, there was a general by the name of Naaman in the Bible. He was a great general, and so much so that he was responsible for helping the Syrian nation defeat Israel. And the Syrian nation ultimately came to know of God, or we would learn that they could come to know of God through the influence of Naaman, because Naaman had leprosy. And there was nowhere in Syria for Naaman to be healed of his leprosy, that Naaman had to travel to Israel. And when he got to Israel, he had to go to the prophet Elisha, and Elisha ultimately told him to go and dip down in the Jordan River 7 times. And Naaman got upset, saying, well, I could dip down in the rivers back in my country, because my rivers are much cleaner than that nasty, muddy Jordan River you want me to dip down in. But ultimately, he went and he did it. The 7th time he came back up, he was healed. He was healed of his leprosy. And then he went to Elisha and he said, here are all the things that I have that I want to present to you. He had like 750 things of silver or gold or whatever, all the stuff he had. And Elisha said, I don't want any of that. I don't want any of it. God doesn't want it. And he said, well, from this day forth, I want everybody to know that the God of Israel is the true God. He said, if you could, when you go to pray, Elisha, please tell God that please allow for me, please bid me the opportunity to kneel when my king kneels down to pray to Baal, to pray to false God, to pray to the idol, the God that they had there in Syria at the time. But Naaman's influence had the ability to be able to change a nation. And it's interesting enough, where all of this stuff is taking place in Syria. And it's also interesting enough that Syria is the place where God is sending you in order to document what is going on there. And it begins to show you just how much, Jarid, God cares for, he cares for the lowly. He cares for the forsaken. He cares for the hurting. He cares for the lost. He cares for them so much so that he would send a man who was willing to do it to go. The Bible talks about how God, he searches the earth to and fro, searching for someone who can go and do the job. And here's the thing I want you to know, Jarid, another thing that I want people to know who are listening. Jarid, I guarantee you, you are not the first person God put it on their heart to go. However, you are the person that when he put it on your heart, you said yes to it. I guarantee you there were thousands, if not millions before you who he told to do it. But they allowed for fear to paralyze them or to pull them back, cause them to run away. But when he can find the right man who will stand flat-footed and say, I will do it despite what can happen to me. Because that's what Dr. King did. I bet before Dr. King, I bet he probably asked a lot of other men, but it was Dr. King. Dr. King said, like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has this course, but I may not get there with you. But I've already been to the promised land. I've already been to the mountaintop. I've already seen it. I may not get over with you, but I've already seen it. So I want you to know, Jay, for those who are listening too, that what you're doing is biblical in nature. What you're doing is prophetic in nature. And what you are doing is you are showing the world, you're showing people, and you're also showing those individuals who oppose. You're showing them what true biblical living looks like, because this is not supposed to be comfortable. Our kids belong to God. That's who they belong to. It is my responsibility while I'm on earth to help to shepherd them. As a father, I help to shepherd them in the way that they should go, so when they are older, they do not depart from it. But if I die before my time, then it is my kids. They know that they ultimately belong to God, not to me. So, brother, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate y'all joining us for this, man. I feel like we need to come back here. We got to give a part 2 to this. At some point, we got to come back. We got to give them an update.
Oh my goodness, bro.
What's up?
I'm oof.
That's the power of the Holy Spirit.
Man, but I don't even know what to say, man. I'm fired up.
That I sense it,
man. I wasn't even thinking about that.
Yo, I sense it. When the time when Heather told me, I was like, when is he going? It wasn't even a thought to me. I just because I know you, and I'm like, it wasn't even a thought to me that he was going to, that you even considering, well, should I do it? It was, this is what I'm going to do. And, you know, even for those who are listening, who find themselves in that dark conundrum, they find themselves, you know, on the precipice of an opportunity. It's like, should I jump? Should I jump? Because jumping seems scary, because what if I fall? And the question you will always have that question, what happens if I fall? But you should always and also ask yourself the question, but what if I jump and I land on my feet? Because that holds the same possibility. Because here's the thing, even if I don't jump, I can trip when I turn around. So jumping in many situations might be my only option. So y'all, to be honest, man, I love y'all so much. Thank y'all for joining us. God bless y'all. We're going to see y'all later. As always, intro deuces.
I love you, bro. Thanks for having me, man.
Thank you. All right, bro.
All right, bro.
Bye.
Peace, man.
Yo, what's up, y'all? Hey, I appreciate y'all for joining me for that amazing podcast. Yo, but do not forget, this Thursday, 9:00 p.m. Eastern time, this is your opportunity to join us live on Stereo, on the Stereo app. If you have not already, make sure you download the Stereo app. You make sure that you follow me right now. It is stereo.com/thisiscornelius. I'm the same on Instagram. I'm the same on Twitter. I'm the same on Peloton. I am This Is Cornelius. If you ever find somebody else, This Is Cornelius, they ain't Cornelius. I am Cornelius. This is Cornelius on Stereo. Also, my co-host, Jarid Behringer. Jarid B, but the B stands for Behringer. So do not miss the To Be Honest after party. It is over on the Stereo app. We go live every Thursday at 9:00 p.m. Eastern time. That means this Thursday, 9:00 p.m. Eastern time is going down for real. It's going to be great. So Stereo is the app for live social conversations, and we want to talk directly with you. And here's the great thing. We already have one right now that I want to send you to. I want you to listen to get an idea of what you can expect. Join us live this Thursday, 9:00 p.m. Eastern time. Roll it.
Hold on.
But see, the thing is,
Kermit Brown is back.
I've known this man for years. This isn't our first rodeo, but it definitely is our last. And I've been more than patient. I've been more than understanding, and I've reached my max. And it's just to the point where it's like, to thy own self be true. And at the same token, I am definitely an advocate for men opening up and being more communicative, because that is something that is so taboo and a very touchy topic. And it's vital for the leaders of the homes to be able to communicate, especially to their wives, because we are their helpmeets. But at the same time, you're not going to take advantage of me over and over and over again as if I'm your doormat or a wet food stamp. I'm not with it. I know my worth. And if you are not at the level to where I'm at, I'm sorry, but I got to go.
A wet food stamp.
She said a wet food stamp. That's opposed to a dry one.
Wet.
I got it.
Extra wet.
Extra wet, lemon pepper, extra wet, extra crunchy. I don't know how we're gonna do this podcast. This after party is never gonna go right without you. Here, it's just gonna be all over the place.